again everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another speed build video in The Sims 4. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope you're having the most amazing day ever, and today we are preparing for the brand new game pack coming to The Sims 4, The Sims 4, I want to say Dream Decorator, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. And I am preparing for this new pack by building an intentionally bad rundown house. We're going to be calling it a bit of a fixer-upper family home, and we're building in Evergreen Harbor today because I absolutely love this lot. I think this world fits the aesthetic that I was going for, and that's why we decided to build here today. And I love doing these rundown builds, like these intentionally rundown builds. I've done a couple of apartments, but I don't think I've ever tried doing an actual house, and I thought it would be kind of fun to do because then what I'm going to be doing is, with the brand new pack that's coming out on the 1st of June, I'm going to be renovating this entire house using the new pack and turning it into a dream family home. Now, as some of you may know, I do get early access to the packs, so this build will be renovated. It'll probably be my second video on the channel with the new pack because I already have something lined up for my early access slot, which is not this house, it's something different. So I thought I'd post this house first and then I'll do my build, and then I'm going to do the renovation after that. I hope that works for you guys. In my head it seemed like the most logical way to go, and it just means that I'm getting 3 videos out in the space of a few days, which is very unusual for me, but I'm trying to plan ahead, especially with this new pack. Being that it seems to be very build focused, I think I'd be silly not to take advantage of this new pack and take advantage of all the items that we're getting. And from what I've seen, we get a lot of new items. I'm really happy that we get 2 brand new kitchen sets because I feel like it's long overdue. I'm trying to think in my head the last time we got a new counter set for kitchens, and honestly, I don't think I can really remember, which is odd. I'm sure someone out there will know the last time we got new counters. I'm just trying to think. We didn't get any with paranormal. Obviously that was a stuff pack, so we were never going to get any with that. I'm just trying to think. Anyway, it's not important. So we're getting new kitchen counters, we're getting sectional sofas so we can make like corner sofas. I'm really excited for this pack, and I'm also really excited to try and play with the new career. And someone on my Twitter, if you're not following me on Twitter, you might want to consider doing that. My @handle is RachelPedd, the same as my YouTube channel, but someone suggested that I might try and do some sort of let's play with my sim self, where we go and just try and renovate different houses and apartments in all the sim worlds, which I'm gonna be honest, I'm not against. I'm not really much of a let's player channel, nor am I much of a player in general, but if that is something that you guys would like to see, please drop me a comment down below. Let me know if that's might be something that you'd be interested in doing, and I'll have a look into it, because honestly that does sound like a lot of fun. And I am trying to branch out on this channel and try a few new things, so that might be a really good way to go. So we are working on the exterior of this build. Now the intention for this house was to make it very rundown looking, very neglected, but a decent size, so that when I came to renovate it, either I could add bits to it, or I could just keep it the size that it is and just give it a new lick of paint and some new furnishings, etc, etc. Now we end up changing things here and there, so I think at the minute it's looking very sort of dull. It just looks like it needs a little bit of TLC, and that was the whole point of this house. And as I said, I've done a few apartments before where I've made them look intentionally run down, and I think it's a lot easier to do that with interior spaces, or at least I think so. So doing the exterior space as well was definitely a challenge for me, a challenge that I was more than willing to take on, given that we are getting a new pack which is kind of catered around renovating properties, and so I thought it kind of fit in really, really well. Now, we use a lot of debug items with this house and a lot of items from a lot of different packs, and Eco Lifestyle came in very handy in particular because the debug items from that pack are so perfect for a build like this. So we've got like this broken down chest of drawers outside, we've got a fridge with a missing door, I think we put a cooker on that looks like it's just been scrapped. It's just kind of perfect. And so we use a lot of items from the Eco Lifestyle pack, and I feel like at this point that's kind of a catchphrase for this for me on this channel, because I tend to gravitate towards a lot of the Eco Lifestyle items anyway, just by default, because they're very much a style that I can kind of work with. And so we end up putting like a broken down car out here as well, and I'm not saying necessarily that a family lives here currently, but a family definitely used to live here, and maybe over time the house just hasn't sold and people have just been dumping stuff here and there because they can see that nobody lives in the house, so they've just decided to dump some of their stuff in the front garden here. That was kind of the backstory that I was going for. And I believe in the description on the gallery I'd written that the family that used to live here used to really care about this house, and when they moved over time, maybe the family that came in didn't care as much about the house, and so they didn't do any painting, they didn't do any renovation work, and so just over time stuff's built up and the house has just become completely neglected. Now what I was going for here, we do end up scrapping the idea completely, but I put a lot of foliage outside, like growing under the roof, etc., because initially I wanted to take it to that next level of neglect where there was foliage and bushes growing through the roof, and then I decided to scrap it because I didn't want to give myself too much of a hard task when it came to renovating the house. And I know that sounds like I'm being lazy, but I'm really not. It was more just about, I'm trying to think of the next speed build and what I wanted to come of it. And so we end up changing out the windows here, and I do end up going for a few different options just because I couldn't really decide which windows I thought looked best, and a lot of the windows are completely mismatched, and that was intentional just because I think it gives it that more of a worn down appearance. So I hope you guys agree. Now this house is available to download from the gallery. I don't know what use you guys would have for a house like this. Maybe you want to renovate it yourself, or maybe when the new pack comes out you have a sim in mind and they have a family and they're going to renovate it over time. I really don't know, so it'd be very interesting to see how you guys kind of use this house and what you're going to be doing with it. So please by all means send me some pictures on Twitter. As I said before, my @handle is RachelPedd, same as it's on YouTube. And I'd love to see what you guys do with this place, because obviously I'm going to be renovating it too, so it'd be very interesting to see what your take on it is. So now we have moved on to the interior of the house, and we are working on the living space here. I didn't want to furnish it too much initially, but then I realised that I just love cluttering up spaces, and so I'm like a moth to a flame. I just have to put stuff in a room, and so we end up just making some choices here and there. Yes, it looks very run down. Someone could potentially live here if they really wanted to. Now I was thinking it was more of an abandoned house. Maybe the family that did live here has just left all of their furniture here, so they weren't intending on taking any of it with them to their new house. So the intention was it's kind of abandoned, not necessarily someone lives in this right now. Obviously it has everything that your Sims need to survive, so if you did want to move a family in here, by all means do. If you want to create some sort of backstory, that would be pretty cool as well. But I would really like to see your guys' take on a renovation of this house, because as I said before, that will be the main focus when the pack comes out after the other build that I'm going to be releasing as early access on the channel. So if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so for early access content for any new packs. But I'm incredibly excited to show you guys what I've been working on for the past few days. So the living space, we went for this kind of disgusting sort of brown, wallpaper from the City Living pack, I believe, and I believe the brickwork is also from the City Living pack. I just thought it worked really, really well with the aesthetic and what I was going for. Nothing matches. Everything looks kind of old and smelly, and I would love, I think I had a conversation with someone on Twitter about this. I would absolutely love if they could release some more intentionally grungy looking items in The Sims. Like some dead plants would be a really good start. So I have a lot of real life plants in my house, but I find it quite difficult to keep them alive, and that's not because I'm a person who doesn't like to keep on top of stuff. Some people just aren't good at keeping plants. I am one of those people, but for a build like this, I feel like plants that are alive are quite unrealistic, because if this house has been abandoned, then the chances are no one's around to water the plants. And if someone's living here, if they're living in these sort of conditions, I can't imagine that their priority is watering their plants. So I think whatever storyline you go with, I don't think plants being alive really goes with that, unless you guys can think of something that I'm just not thinking of. But that's kind of the whole idea that I had in my head. The kitchen, I'm trying to put items intentionally on an angle so it looks like they've kind of been dumped there. Like maybe they wanted to try and take this fridge away, and then they kind of half moved it out of the space and they were like, no, let's just leave it here, it's nasty and we're moving into a new house, so why would we want to do this? And I ended up moving one of the cabinets and kind of like dropping it down as if it's sort of half fallen off the wall. I don't have the tool mod installed, otherwise I would have been able to put stuff on an angle, and I have spoken about this before. The tool mod, although it is an absolutely incredible piece of equipment that I know Twisted Mexi has worked incredibly hard on, it's just not for me. I feel quite overwhelmed by it, and I feel like I would have too many options in the game and I wouldn't really be able to sort of come up with any good ideas. So that's why I steer away from it. But I have seen a lot of people do builds like this where they've kind of put frames on the wall on an angle, and it just gives it that little bit of extra something. But yes, I still think we did a really good job of making the entire house look really run down and just really unkempt, especially with the decoration items from particularly the vampire game pack. I always want to call it a stuff pack. It's not a stuff pack, it's a game pack. Particularly with that pack, when we got the cracks on the wall and the holes, I love using these items in grungy builds and builds that are supposed to look like they're completely run down. They just work so well, and all these scratches, I think they're such nice additions to the game, and they just make a house look like this look that much more realistic. So I'm all for that. Now, completely off topic, but if I sound a little bit off, it is because I had my vaccine a few days ago, and for some reason my right tonsil has completely swollen up. So I keep having to pause because I get a little bit uncomfortable. But I really wanted to record this voiceover, so I'm not looking for a pity party or anything like that. I'm just saying, if I sound a little bit off, it's because my right tonsil is incredibly swollen, and it hurts to speak, it hurts to swallow, and it hurts to eat or drink at the moment. And so I'm just trying to take it steady, but I really wanted to record this voiceover, so if I sound a bit strange, then that is why. Anyway, talking about the build again. On this area of the house, I didn't really know what to put here because it's actually quite a big space. I think when I do the renovation, I'm thinking about making this part like a nice formal dining area. I don't know whether to keep it all open plan or what I'm going to be doing really, because it really just depends on the items that we get in the pack and what sort of style I go for. But I'm very excited to renovate this house. It's not something that I've ever done. I don't think I've ever renovated a house that I've worked on before, and so this will be a first for me. So I am very excited to delve into that and see what I can come up with. But in this space here, there is a dining room table with a couple of chairs, but I don't know what I was going for here really. I really don't know. It was like a space filler, in all honesty, just because I didn't really know what else to put. So I think pretty much half of this build is me adding cracks and holes to the walls. So I hope you don't get bored of that. And then I end up deciding to, oh Oh my gosh, I've lost my way with my voiceover. I ended up putting these candles, I think they're from Dine Out, if I'm not mistaken. I just thought they looked kind of cool on that dining table there. I don't know what I was going with that, but I think it looks pretty cool. This is the downstairs bathroom. Again, when I renovate this, I don't know if I'll keep this the same shape. I really don't have any ideas at this point, other than we have been told that the items from the pack are Scandinavian inspired. So I don't know if I should be going for like kind of a Scandinavian inspired exterior as well as interior. I really don't know what I want to do, unless I want to just give it a lick of paint on the outside and just completely redo the inside and make it look like quite a real renovation. I don't know at this point what I want to do. And so this is the bathroom downstairs. I didn't really do much with the bathrooms, to be honest. This is I want to say a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. Yes, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. And with the bathrooms in particular, I didn't really know what to do with them. And so I just kept them pretty simple, but made them look a little bit like they just need a bit of tender loving care. Someone needs to come in and give this house a brand new look. They need to do some wallpapering, some painting, lay some new carpet down, some new floorboards. I would absolutely love to see you guys renovate this house. I'd love to see what you come up with. I really would. So if, again, as I said earlier, if you'd like to tweet me at RachelPedd with any screenshots, I would really love that. So the main bedroom, this is the main bedroom. Now, obviously, given that we're making this house look intentionally run down, I think this pretty much fits the aesthetic, I'm going to be honest. This bed from the Eco Lifestyle pack fits so perfectly in this room, and so I couldn't not use it. And again, this chair from the City Living pack, I think this end table is also from City Living, but I know we swapped that out for one from the base game that just looks a little bit more worn, a little bit older. So we end up just going with that instead. And now we're about to move on to I set this up as a kids room. I think when I renovate this, I'll probably turn it into a bunk bed bedroom, just because I love playing around with bunk beds, and I think it just allows for one more sim to sleep in the house. So I think that's always a bonus. And so we don't really do much in here other than make it look, again, just run down, neglected, like nobody really cares. That's the whole aesthetic of this build. I really hope you guys enjoyed this, because this is so much fun to build, I'm going to be honest. Again, I go back to I absolutely love doing houses like this, because and apartments like this, because I really think you can add a lot of character to them, and you can just go absolutely nuts with the storyline and all of the details. Everything you add just adds to the storyline, and I think this house tells a story. What story? I have absolutely no idea at this point, but I'm sure it tells a story. So I'm going to leave you guys here, but you can now download this house from the gallery. My origin ID, of course, is RachelPedd. Tray files, as always, are linked down in the description below. You can grab them from Sim File Share. But as always, thank you so much for joining me here today, everyone. I cannot wait to show you my early access look at the brand new game pack, and I will see you on Monday when I post my early access video. Thank you so much again for joining me here today, everyone. You guys take care, and I will see you on Monday. Bye!
Like a wild man, sleeping like a child. You're so luminous and vibrant. I'm always in bloom for you. Always in bloom. Always in bloom for you. Times I've stranded, a castaway, and I'm known.